Okay, I'm an idiot. I hit the I do this 100 times and I do the button. And oh my god, I am so stupid. So can you hear me now? I'm so sorry. There is a I was uploading a bunch of pictures and I hope you can hear me now. Please tell me you can hear me now. Anyway, awesome. I am so sorry. Thank God for lip reading. Thank you, RJ. Well, okay, what happened? No, it wasn't your computer. It was me. I was downloading a bunch of pictures, and then I accidentally hit the mute button and didn't realize that I hit it. So, boy, this is going to be a sucky show when they go to turn it on. Anyway, so what I was saying is, let me go back to everybody that's on the Paul Lynde page and the Paul Lynde appreciation page. We're platforming the show through there. Ta-da! There we go. So yeah, usually what happens is, um, I will either do the show as myself or I'll do my character Esther, and we'll platform the show on all the different Facebook pages. And something remarkable has been happening, and that is the Paul Lynde page has just gone over the top in the last few weeks. I mean, we went from people pay attention to what's happening on the page. But then all of a sudden, we're at 1.25 million reach this week. We were there yesterday and the day before. And all of a sudden, there's this resurgence of Paul Lynde. And I'm just like, what is happening? At the same time, I have been presented with bringing the show back an evening. Let's see. Hold on. Let me get you there. There we go, Pete. I just took you off of there. So meanwhile, I have done the show, and I have, those of you that know, I have the rights in perpetuity to do the live Paul Lynde show. And it has evolved in the past 10, 12 years when it started off in a little tiny room. Believe it or not, right here. This was a picture when we were originally putting together the Paul Lynde show, and we were workshopping it. And Peter Marshall, who's in the picture, brought Rosemary to see the show. I don't know who the lady is behind me. It's been so long. But this picture was taken at this little tiny room called the M Bar. It doesn't even exist anymore in Hollywood. And so anyway, this was after the show, and Peter surprised me with Rosemary. And it was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. Anyway, so what's happening is that we are hopefully going to be bringing the show back. I would have been picking her brain about Carl Reiner. Let me tell you something. There's a backstage look at the at what the Hollywood squares look like in Hollywood, in beautiful downtown Burbank. I think that's so cool. Now, Rosemary, we actually shot my show as a 5-camera TV special that never aired because of some rights that happened with the music and blah, 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 blah. And then the video company, Image Entertainment, went out of business, and then I got the rights back. So I own the rights to the video, which is on the Paul Lynde page. You can watch it anytime you want. But yeah, we're bringing the Paul Lynde show back. Yes. And I'm not allowed to say the venue because we haven't signed the contract, even though I'm penciled in, and the contract's been going back and forth, and they're putting together the artwork and everything for the ad. So, I mean, yes, it's happening. I can honestly say, yes, we're going to be bringing the show back. And but until I sign the papers, which will happen very soon. We thought it was going to happen last week, but it's okay. Yeah, we're hoping that it's going to go on tour, the beginning of it. So we're going to do Los Angeles first. Even though I'm based here in Vegas, we're going to do Los Angeles first, probably San Francisco, and then New York City. And then hopefully we're going to start picking up the small theaters around the country. But what we're doing is, the original show that I did was called the Paul Lynde Show, which is based upon his 1976 touring show that he did. where he sang Rhinestone Cowboy and stuff like that. I don't do that in the show. What I did was I was able to have the creative license by getting the rights from the estate and working with the family to be able to work the show and do certain things creatively and made it work. And of course, the family came and have seen all the different versions of the show as it has evolved, and they gave me their blessing. So it's pretty cool. I want to get to as many places as we can. Me and Champs will be going on the road, but it's a fun show. It really, really is. But it's just amazing what is happening with Paul Lynde, and I guess what's his name, Eichner, Billy Eichner, right? Made this big announcement like a year and a half ago that he was doing the Paul Lynde movie, and of course, I never heard from them. I mean, they never bothered to call me, but then I found out through a source that it's a pitch. They really haven't gotten the full script, but they're still working on it. But what they're doing is they are going to be doing the crap version of Paul Lynde. They're going to do all the nasty stuff that isn't true. Yes, Paul had an alcohol problem, but they're more interested in the kid that fell off the balcony in San Francisco, fell out of the window in San Francisco. They're still trying to say he had a heart attack in bed with a hustler, which wasn't true. He died of a heart attack. I have the autopsy reports, when I was doing research on the show. But it is amazing how these people, they want to do the drama stuff. So if they're doing an unauthorized biography, they can basically say anything they want. But yeah, it's like there's Paul and his Dandy Dinmont. That was Harry McAfee right there. Harry was his baby, and God, it's so weird how he was so close to his child. But anyway, looking over here, let me say hello. There's hi Angela and Nikki and Amy and Lori Brown and Mike Reeves. Thank you so much, Pete Turner, Diane. Everybody's just Tammy and Cindy Singer Thomas, Karen F. There it is. They want the gritty details. I'm waiting on the John Belushi movie. Cheryl Reese back again. Yay, sooner the better. I hope so. Hi, Patty. Thank you for coming in, Patty Horetsky. But anyway, I think it's Billie Eilish. No, it's not Billie Eilish. Billy Eichhorn. He's the guy that chases people around with a camera and insults them and whatever, and then keeps running. But that's Eichner. Billy Eichner is his name. Not Billie Eilish is the singer. Let's see, what's the old saying about cream? Consider yourself the cream that the other project curdled. Well, it's going to happen. I mean, I was looking at the fact that if they do the Paul Lynde movie, we actually wrote a Paul Lynde movie. Billy Butler, really incredible director William Butler, and his writing partner Aaron and we came up with the story for the movie, and it's called Off Center, the Paul Lynde story. And it's a great movie. Oh my God, it's so good. And we cover everything from him with the little boy to, when he died. But it wasn't the movie. What people don't know is, like, when I was writing the show, I had, Peter Marshall came on board, Cloris Leachman came on board. So many incredible people came on board and started helping me with the facts, with the things that were cool about Paul. I mean, for instance, like, people don't realize he was on the cover of People magazine in 1975, right? 1975? 1976. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. 1970s. Hey, Charlie Voss. 1976. I mean, that was like the beginning of People magazine, and he was one of the biggest stars on network television. Can you believe that? And then he had this show, which was the Paul Lynde show, which lasted one season, and he was kind of pissed off about that. He still held it against ABC. One of my childhood role models. Okay, so I'm still, as we're speaking, people are still checking in. Let me see. I'll show you the stats for the latest thing on Paul Lynde. It's just it's mind-boggling to me. Where we're at insights. Here we go. Oh, we're at, look at this, 1.3 million. Isn't that incredible? 1.3 million is our reach. That's how many people have seen the stuff. But you know, and then I mean, just amazing. Like Karen Valentine, that's Paul and Karen Valentine on the during a break during the filming of the Hollywood Squares. Isn't that cool? And she came to see the show. I think you all have watched the show before, where I played the video where we had where Cloris Leachman came. Let's see, one night Peter Marshall bought Cloris Leachman, Karen Valentine, Rosemarie, J.P. Morgan. It was like this, and himself. It was pretty amazing. So if you, hey, Richard Hawkins from Provincetown, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. And at room 222, that's right, Tom Dinder. I don't know why I didn't upload. I could have uploaded that video, but I just thought, you know, there's some fun stuff. I mean, I'm going to play the video. You may have seen it already. I put this up on the Paul Lynde page a week ago, and it's like 100,000 people have already looked at it. But Paul was at, it's a scene with Paul Lynde and Alice Ghostley from the movie Rabbit Test that was written by Joan Rivers. I don't know if she wrote it all by herself or if she had other help. But it's pretty amazing. Funny clip, because, you know, there will be some people whose sphincters kind of clench because Paul Lynde refers to Mexicans as, well, you'll see in the video. Here it is. This is Paul Lynde from the movie Rabbit Test with Joan Rivers. It's very, very funny. Here we go.
Won't you have a seat? Oh, shit. Nurse Ton, call maintenance. I have sperm all over my desk again. Sorry. Now, what was that problem?
Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques, dormez vous, dormez vous.
Hold it, cowgirls. Sick babies have ears, too. Run the regular tests on this. My nose will be back for the results tomorrow at 11. Oh, and charge the wetback triple.
Charge the wetback triple. You've ruined my lunch.
Frere Jacques, Frere Jacques.
I mean, yeah, I mean, right. You saw it. Unbelievable. Some of the stuff, you can't say that. You know what? I am still trying to figure out what he mouthed to her. I guess I have to go rent the movie if it's available somewhere, but he says something to her, but I don't know what it is. It was bleeped out. Probably YouTube bleeped it out or something, but oh my God. But let's see, there was this other cool thing that I saw. It was, he did so much with Donnie and Marie. Oh, that's what I wanted. Hold on. Let me add this up. Hold on. Let me see. Let me find this video file. I got to put this video file up because it's so good. And I thought I had downloaded it and I didn't. Hold on. It's right here. Where the heck is it? Oh my God, where is it? It was Donnie and Marie. And that, I don't know if I can get away with this. I'm going to wait. They flagged it the other day. It was a video. Where the hell is the video? I'm so upset. But there's What's My Line. There's hold on. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to play this other video. This is this incredible video right here is from this I have not put up on the Paul Lynde page. You guys are seeing it for the first time. The What's My Line. Thanks, Tom. This is a sketch from the Dean Martin show with Debbie Reynolds, Paul Lynde, and Dean Martin. And it's It's a time in an era that doesn't exist. Hey, Spirit Light Inside. Hey, Debbie Tatel. There was a great one where he played Santa with Donnie Marie. I've got that too. I have to put it up. But anyway, here is one. I'm going to put this up and I'm going to try to find this on a video real quick. Here we go. This is Dean Martin, Debbie Reynolds, and Paul Lynde.
During the good old days of vaudeville, no show was complete without a courtroom sketch. No one could plead insanity because everybody was nuts, including the judge.
Yay. Court is now in session. Judge Melman presiding.
Well, what's on the docket today?
Your Honor, today the case you're about to try is one of the most important, most complicated and sensitive problems in the history of jurisprudence. Gosh, I love your robe.
This whole thing? That's just an old moo-moo I borrowed from Mama Cass. I hope this ain't going to be another one of them pornography trials. I still have to look over all those dirty movies we seized last week.
When are you going to look at them?
Tonight. I'm having a few friends over. Why don't you drop by?
Love to.
Well, I think I'm going to go to the bench now.
Bring in the prisoner.
If you trying to influence the judge, that'll do it. State your name.
Peaches Latour.
Is that a Latour with one boom or two? Miss Latour, you're charged with giving an indecent performance. What do you say to defend yourself?
I usually tell them I've got a headache, Your Honor. The charge is not true. My performance is completely pure and artistic, and my dance is a story, a dramatization of the conflict between the forces of good and the forces of evil.
Well, where does it take place?
In the back seat of a car.
Your attorney must be remiss because so far I haven't seen your habeas corpus.
I must have been sitting in one of them cheap seats.
Yeah. You may be innocent, but if your drummer keeps that up, I'll give him 20 years.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Debbie Reynolds.
What do you think you're doing?
Oh, well, I'm just waving hi to my mother to put another coin in the parking meter.
Take the stand.
Take anything I can get.
Take that seat. Before we proceed, I'll remind the prisoner she's entitled to one phone call. And here's my number. I'm usually around 7.
Yes, she was.
Now, who's the arresting officer?
I'm the one who busted her.
And as I understand it, you busted her? As I understand it, you is the buster and she is the bustee.
There's no hiding anything from you, Your Honor.
Your Honor, don't be taken in by her outward appearance of innocence. It's a mere facade.
If it is, it's a brick facade.
Your Honor, you won't believe the costume this girl wore in public. To give you an idea, this is just the top.
Oh, well, put this in evidence and mark it Exhibit A and B. And while you're at it, have it dusted for footprints.
Your Honor, you should have seen her dancing. She did this, and 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 this. And now you're on our rolling.
Not true, Your Honor.
Ouch. All right. Clear the court while I pronounce sentence.
Thanks, Your Honor. I was starting to get sick.
Oh, Your Honor, we're alone at last.
Young lady, I've made up my mind. You're a girl that definitely belongs behind bars.
I am?
Yeah, and I think we ought to start with this one.
I mean, they just don't do this anymore in television. They've tried it. They've tried to, do classic comedy sketches and stuff like that. And I don't know what it is. They just don't get the right vibe. But it also was a time in television which will never ever happen again. Yeah, it's from the Dean Martin show, Jackie Britton. But they just don't make shows like that anymore. And because back then, now we've got Netflix, we've got 1,000 channels to choose from. Back in the 60s and the 70s, there were so many, there were only so few outlets for stars. So you could get some of the biggest stars in the world to come on television, to be in a comedy sketch, to do something. And they were able to do that. Yeah, generations change things, Harry Gideon. It's true. And I think, what's her name? Oh God, Rosie O'Donnell tried to do a sketch show, a variety show. I mean, you look at stuff like with Cher and stuff like that. I mean, Donnie and Marie. Here is to show you the comedic timing brilliance of Paul Lynde. Here's a sketch where he only uses one word at a time and gets the biggest laughs. Are you ready for it? Okay, let's put this up here. This is in the supermarket. Paul Lynde.
Hello there. These are my groceries.
1977.
Right. Eggs,
I'm new in town. I don't get through these parts much.
milk,
I'm an actor. Perhaps you've seen me.
ham,
I'm in the new play in town, Sunrise at San Diego. It's a big smash hit.
turkey.
They love me. My option for the second year was just renewed by the producer. Very, very bright man.
Fruit cake.
Perhaps you've heard of him. David C. Kimmel, one of the most important men in the business.
Small potatoes.
He doubled my money. Of course, you know an actor of my caliber commands a big salary.
Peanuts.
The deal was made by my agent. Very, very big man.
Shrimp.
Yeah, he's made some incredible deals. Everyone knows how brilliant he is.
Cabbage ham.
Of course, I'm not in this play alone. My leading lady is Lila Harrington. Lovely hair, fabulous figure, and
Frog's legs. That comes to $63.42.
Will you take a check?
Of course not. I hardly know you.
Okay, here's cash. Have it delivered. But I'll never shop at this store again.
Oh, there's one more item. Sour grapes.
I think the best person to learn timing from was Paul Lynde. He was just funny all the time. Particularly when the cameras turned on, he was just on. When the cameras were off, he was out of here. I mean, he just didn't want anything to do with it.
He really hated working with kids.
Yeah, he couldn't work with it.
He couldn't stand.
But
and
that's what made him
animals.
funny, because he just wanted to get out of here. Just
It's like,
he hated it.
Them.
Anyway, that is, I mean, the timing on that is just, it's so impeccable. And so, I studied him and studied him and studied him, and I still watch his videos. So I stay, up with the, with his mannerisms and stuff. I don't look like him. but by the time they do the makeup and I have the wig on and whatever, I sort of become him. It's all about the laugh, and it's all about, the timing. And so, what I do when I play him, it's really interesting. I told this the other day. I was talking to my friend Debbie Tatel. I think it was Debbie Tatel I was telling this to. I forget who it was, or was it? It was one of my psychic friends I was telling them to. But when we first started the show, and all of a sudden, all these people from his past, his friends, Cloris Leachman, Karen Valentine, and Peter Marshall, and Jan Forbes, they helped me out. And so this my musical director at the time, Gary Busby, had said to me, thank you, Debbie. My musical director, Gary Busby, at the time gave me a psychic reading for my birthday when we were putting the show together. And he was saying, thank you, Mike Reeves. I really do appreciate it. But this is a true story. And they said, she did the reading, and she says, oh yeah, the show's going to be around for a long time. Little did I know when I started writing this back in 2005, that it would still be going, that we'd end up in Vegas, that we'd do the show at Bally's. And, then the pandemic came, and you know how things go. But what she told me to do, she said, Michael, you have his essence so much. And she says, I can tell you this, Paul is guiding this from the other side. His spirit is guiding your show. That's why you have all of his closest friends giving you help. Kay Ballard, Andy Williams, Cloris Leachman, Karen Valentine. I mean, all of them just came and helped me. And she said to me, Michael, every day, every show performance, when you're in your dressing room and the wig goes on and you're getting ready to go on, before you go out to go to the onstage area, she goes, I want you to light a candle. And you light that candle and you just look up and you go, Paul, come on down, take over. It's your show. You're just using me. And close your eyes. And then you become him. And you go out and do the show. She goes, as soon as that show's over, after you've taken your bows and go backstage, she goes, you go back to that dressing room and you look up and you go, Paul, it's time to go back. You're done. We'll call you later. Blow out the candle. And I do that every single performance. She said to me, she goes, Michael, hey, it's so powerful that you don't want to pick up his demons that he had. And so you have to allow yourself to let him come down and take over. And it's so weird, because when I'm on stage, I don't even think it's Michael. I think as Paul Lynde. Yeah, it's almost like a ghost whisperer. Thank you, Robert McCourt. Thank you, so many people. Thank you, everybody from the Paul Lynde page that are tuning in today. So anyway, the show here in Vegas had all the bells and the whistles and everything, and the giant square. So what we're doing is we're bringing the show. We're going to take the show and make it a little bit more intimate, and we're changing the name from the Paul Lynde Show to An Evening with Paul Lynde. And it's going to be easier to travel with and go on the road with, and there'll still be the audio visual with the pictures. When he starts talking about, I was fat. I was fat, and this is what happened. And there's Bewitched, there's Endora. Because in the show, we cover everything. Uncle Arthur, Broadway, kids, and stuff like that. And it's pretty amazing, that we get to that I get to do that. Let me see. Well, hold on. Let's see. What is this? There's that. There's this. Here's another. Very interesting. I'm going to start lighting more candles. Oh, thank you, Tom Dinder. This particular video, I've got, I have this one video. Will it come back to Vegas? Cindy, will it come back to Vegas? What happened during the pandemic was the hotels and casinos basically got rid of 15 small shows because we're not Celine Dion, I mean, they even dumped Wayne Newton here in Vegas. And I mean, Wayne's finally back, but all of the smaller shows are basically history here in Vegas. So, I mean, I love living in Vegas because it's much cheaper than living in Los Angeles, and I can be in Los Angeles in 40 minutes on the plane. But as far as smaller shows, if I come back to Vegas, I won't play a casino. I'll probably play like the Smith Theater, the Smith Theater or something. But yes, yeah, I hope you come near his Ohio hometown. My niece on her dad's side is related. Well, the nieces, his nieces, Connie Rice, lives in Arizona, and they were the ones that gave me the rights to do Paul Lynde. And they wanted me, they didn't want, they wanted to make sure that the show I put together was the essence of Paul Lynde. I could not ignore alcoholism. I could not ignore, some of his demons and the nastiness that he became. In fact, Kay Ballard, the incredible Kay Ballard, one night, I mean, we're still molding the show and putting it together because that's what you do with shows. You, when you're writing them and creating them, you constantly work things. So I'm doing the show at this little place. I can't even remember the name of it, but it was in Palm Springs back in like 2006, I think it was 2007. And I heard that Kay Ballard was coming, but nobody told me that Andy Williams was going to be in the audience as well. And it was amazing. I come out and I'm doing the show and I walk out and I'm looking at the end of the stage and there's freaking Andy Williams. Now you have to understand, as a kid growing up, and seeing these people that I grew up with, and a lot of you are my age, we come from that generation of this. And it's part of the upsides. The most amazing part of the upsides is being able to work with these people that I grew up watching on television, having conversations with them and having them help me. And Andy Williams just stood up, gave me a standing ovation. And then he told me the story about how he and Paul Lynde played this place called the Blue Angel in New York City. And he was telling me, he gave me a couple of ideas, but Kay Ballard, God rest her soul, Kay came up to me. She goes, honey, she didn't say honey. She goes, kid, you're getting drunk too quick. Paul Lynde got drunk slowly. And as he slowly got drunk, he got meaner. And you need to incorporate that into the show. So I was like, okay. Because in the show, he has a bottle, he has a decanter with some scotch in it on the table. And excuse me, I'm going to have a cocktail. And he has one. But so anyway, we incorporated that into the show where Paul starts off happy as can be, talking about how life is. What the hell is Twitter? We do the show. We do the show as if he's never died. He's just been gone for 40 years. He's been on a sabbatical and he's back and the world has changed and he wants to tell his story. And, it's very funny how we time in some of the stuff that, that are commonplace in our worlds today with computers and Twitter and hashtag. He goes, we did that when we were competing for a joint, stuff like that. I mean, there's so many things that we use in the show when he does his opening monologue and he comes back. And then the thread through the show is Peter Marshall. And Peter, God bless his soul. I love, there's Peter and Toady Fields and Paul Lynde. They're inside Toady Square on the Hollywood Squares. But Peter, is the thread through the show. As Paul's trying to tell the audience his story about his life, all of a sudden, what the hell? Hey, Paul, it's Peter Marshall. And Peter Marshall came in and did all the voiceovers for the show that we incorporate into the program. And as Paul's getting more frustrated because Peter keeps interrupting him, he keeps drinking more. And the more he keeps drinking, well, guess what? He gets a little bit more bitter and finally just gives up and says, all right, we're just going to play the Hollywood Squares, which is the finale of the show. Where Paul finally just gives up and goes, we're going to do this. And of course, there is the arc in the show where Paul realizes how the alcohol has affected him so much, and it's a big change that happens. So we were able to I was able to make it funny, bring in all these great Hollywood Squares questions that Peter Marshall actually asks, and I get to tell you what happened with him and how he was able to, his frustrations at not being a big movie star. That's what he wanted more than anything. All he ever wanted to be was rich and famous, and yeah, he got to be rich and famous, but he wanted to be a movie star, and he just we do this whole bit we do this whole bit in the show where he talks about the movies, Beach Blanket Bingo, Glass Bottom Boat. He talks about that was his big movie career, and then he's always wanted to play the romantic male lead. That was something that he always wanted to play, the male lead. So in the show, we give him the opportunity to do that. He gets the opportunity for Paul. Paul finally gets to do his screen test, and we chose we chose Titanic, the final scene in Titanic, where Paul plays you know who, not Kate Winslet. Oh my God, I'm having a brain fart. But anyway, why am I having a brain fart on the star of Titanic, one of the biggest young stars in the world? Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe it. I can see his face. Anyway, so we bring we bring the audience, not Gloria Stewart. Oh my God. I cannot believe I'm having a total brain fart. Leonardo DiCaprio. Duh. Anyway, thank you, Nikki. Leonardo DiCaprio. So Paul plays the Leonardo DiCaprio role, and then we bring a woman up from the audience to play the Kate Winslet role. And then we have another guy that holds up the cue cards, and it's just a gigantic clusterfuck on stage. And it's funny. But what happens is he does that. It's great. I mean, we did it one time when we were at the Hudson Theater. This is a few years back, not 100 years ago. I came out to do the show, and Doris Roberts, the late great Doris Roberts, was in the audience, and she had come with this gentleman friend of mine, Joey Santos, had brought her. I had no idea. When somebody came back and they said, Doris Roberts is sitting on the front row. And my director, John Hall, said, you better bring her up to play the Kate Winslet role. You'll never have an opportunity like that ever again. And so when it happened, I go, I need somebody to play the Kate Winslet role. And Rose, who's going to be my Rose? And I look straight at Doris Roberts and I go, Doris, I want you to play Rose. And she did. And it was pretty amazing. I actually have that on videotape. Hilarious. When was the last time I spoke with Paul's family? Believe it or not, Connie just left. We stay in contact all the time. They send me a birthday card, a Christmas card, an Easter card every single holiday. Debbie, in fact, and Connie Rice. Connie Rice is on my Michael Airington Facebook page. For those of you, I have a Facebook profile and a page, but she's on my profile, which is the private page. But hey, add me. I'll if you're not a crazy wacko dinghoy from Nigeria, or trying to sell me auto warranty insurance, add me on there. Why do you ask, Debbie? But because hold on, now I gotta find you. There you go. Bring you down. But yeah, the family is she runs everything, and they still get occasional residuals and stuff like that. So yeah, here's one more. I've got another video if you all like to say, hey, Julia St. John, thank you very much. This video is currently up on the website. And it's pretty cool. This on the Paul Lynde page. This is Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Andy Griffith, and Paul Lynde, and the Dingaling sisters. Are you ready to see this one? And I'm going to add this up, and I'm going to put this up here now, and I'm going to add another video, which is Don Rickles and Paul Lynde at a roast. It's hilarious. Here we go. This is...
Here we go again, at the very end of the show. But here's a thought or two we'd like to throw at you before we have to go.
Well, I have just invented the ultimate in automation. This machine completely replaces the wife.
Replaces the wife?
Yes, it does everything a wife does, only better.
Amazing. Could I see a demonstration?
Of course.
Take out the garbage, mow the lawn, pick up your clothes, and not tonight. I've got a headache.
Well, Mr. Ferguson, this is the big day. We have put all your interests on a punch card, and the computer has selected the perfect date for you.
I'm so excited. May I meet my date now?
You sure can. Would you come in, please? Mr. Ferguson, here is your computer date. Ralph O'Malley.
Pleased to meet you.
What? Wait a minute. I can't go out with him.
Why not?
Because you're not Jewish.
I'm happy to report, Mr. Cummings, that your operation was a complete success. We removed all the parts of your body and replaced them with artificial organs. Among other things, you now have an artificial heart, an artificial liver, artificial kidneys, and artificial lungs. Now, do you have any questions?
Yeah, where are the artificial girls?
Daddy, I want you to meet my new fiancé, Harold.
You mean the two of you are going to get married?
That's right, Mr. Holmquist. I really love Sally very, very much.
Oh, that's wonderful. Welcome to the family, Harold.
Thank you, sir.
It's so nice when in this world of hate and prejudice and discrimination, two people can look beyond external differences and judge each other for what they really are inside. Where do you plan to live?
Well, Daddy, I was thinking maybe for the first year or so, here with you. Is that all right?
All right, of course it is, sweetie. Where do you plan to live?
I suppose you heard about your appointment.
Yes, I did, sir.
Just think, the next Apollo flight will carry you, the first man of your race, to the moon. It'll be your findings that will help people settle on the moon someday. A perfectly integrated planet with no prejudices or racial overtones.
Oh, yeah? Then how come they're sending me to the dark side of the moon?
Fred, I just got drafted.
Drafted? Didn't you follow my advice when you went for your physical?
I did everything you told me.
Well, did you wear the lipstick and earrings?
Yeah.
And the high heels and the dress?
Yeah.
And the padded bra?
Sure, I wore all those things.
And the Army still took you?
No, to wax.
What does this make you think of?
Sex.
Mm-hmm. What does this make you think of?
Sex.
Mm-hmm. What does this make you think of?
Sex.
It seems you have a strong obsession about sex.
What do you mean I have an obsession? You're the one that's drawing all those sexy pictures there.
Here we go again, and we've had a regular ball. And we hope that you had a good time too, and we're sorry to say that's all.
Oh, yeah.
Hello there.
Oh, Shice, hold on.
He's
Can you do that? There we go. Hey, there we go. I run everything here. I have this whole... Wasn't that great? I mean, they just don't do stuff like that. There's this one video that I was able to download, and I tried to upload it to the Paul Lynde site the other day, and they wouldn't allow it. Facebook wouldn't allow it because they said that I didn't own the rights to it. And I was like, I'm just putting it on Facebook. I'm not making any money here on this, but it is an incredible, funny video. It's Don Rickles introducing Paul Lynde at a Dean Martin roast, and Paul Lynde roast Dean Martin. It's very, very funny. What I'll probably do is I'll probably put the Facebook Facebook link to it. Here's another cool picture that I found, which is this was a great picture of Paul Lynde after one of his shows. You can see the orchestra pit in front of him, and it's pretty cool. That was neat. And then this right here, that's the Hollywood Squares being shot in Las Vegas. Pretty cool. Anyway, so everybody, listen, everybody, thank you so much for everybody popping in this afternoon. You know what I might do is I might assemble some more of these great Paul Lynde moments. There are a lot of them. And I might do this again. And as we get closer to the show and we find out the exact dates, right now I can tell you it's September is when it's all starting. But I've got to go into rehearsals. It's a long show. It's only me on stage. So it's a lot of lines. Hey, Bobby Bashaw, how are you? Robert McCourt, how great. But I am going to, here we go. Bring this back in. I'm going to call it a day. I'm going to call it a fun, exciting Sunday. So I want to say thank you, Diane, Charlie Voss, Julia St. John, Mary Rose Frasca. You are super. Angela, Robert McCourt, Debbie Bashaw, Nikki, Gaylord. I'm trying to get everybody's names in here. The Sunny. Let's see, Tammy and Harry Gideon, Cindy Singer, Thomas Stephen, Artis, Pam Stubbs. Oh gosh, if I missed you, Mike Reeves, Linda Perez, Manelli, Barbara Rue, Cindy Singer Thomas, Nissa Ray, Lori Missick, Robert McCourt. Listen, thank you guys so much for tuning in. And if you want, you can watch this again on YouTube, or you can watch it here on the Facebook page. I'm Michael Airington. And we do this show every Sunday, and I also dress up and I become Esther Goldberg on a couple of the shows. But I've got more pictures, I've got more videos, so maybe we'll do this next week. Thank you guys so very much. And how much fun is it? Just go back in time. Oh, and Jason, and oh my God, Jason, young Jason in Australia. Thank you so much. Oh, thank you, Bobby, for the tip. We love that. Anyway, Jason's a young kid from Australia who friended me many years ago and is a huge Paul Lynde fan down under. Anyway, this is Michael Airington, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.